The San Antonio Spurs looked at the best team in basketball who went into the NBA Cup semis with a record of 24-1 and won. 24-1 and won. You know what I mean? They beat that team, the OKC Thunder, the team that might win 70 games, the team that might be starting a dynasty. They went into that game and won. And on that broadcast, again, Stan Van Gundy, who has been doing an amazing job over there on Team Amazon, kept using the word contender when talking about the San Antonio Spurs. And though I was watching this game and I was taking my notes and I was having so much fun watching the Spurs take all the momentum and win this game, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about contender? Contender, is it too early? So now let's have a generic conversation about the checklist of being a contender in the NBA. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. Every single team that's won a championship over the last however many years, since like 2005, has been the top 10 offense and the top 10 defense. A lot of people use that as the barometer of whether or not a team should really be in conversations to win a championship. So top 10, no. Top 10 D. Top 7 player in basketball. Highly specific from you, Kenny. Absolutely. Highly specific. Consistent half-court offense. What else? You know, that is a very generic checklist of what it means to be a contender. Good coaching. Should we add that? Number 5. So now let's figure out how many of these things the Spurs have. Top 10 offense. The jury is still out on that because we still just don't have a ton of sample size of De'Aaron Fox and Wemby playing together. So jury's still out. I'm going to give them a half a point when it comes to top 10 offense. Top 10 defense, they can have 2 thumbs up, to be honest with you. But yeah, they got that. Top 7 players, 7 thumbs. I don't got that many thumbs, but I'll throw them all up if I could. And Victor Wembanyama. And a consistent half-court offense, the jury is still out, similar to the offensive top 10 offense, because we just haven't seen enough of the top 2 guys over there. But the more I watch the Spurs, because when they were, this is probably number 6, great role players. I'll give them that. Victor Wembanyama missed, 12 games, and they were 9-3, I think the record was. So, like, they were really good without Victor Wembanyama, so much so that we had an episode a few weeks ago where a viewer of the show, Cam, was asking, like, how do we reincorporate Victor Wembanyama? We've been playing so fast and playing so great. Do we go back to giving him post touches? Do we so on and so forth? And so they have been playing really, really well. I watched this game against OKC, and it's not smart to take a singular game, no matter the stakes, no matter the what, and just use that as the real conversation around the team. But we're going to do it today because this is basically the first game of Wembanyama's NBA career off the top of mind. Maybe I'm wrong here, and you can fact check me and send it to me on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever. This is the first game of Victor Wembanyama's NBA career so far that had real stakes. Obviously, he has not been to the postseason. He hasn't been to a play-in game that's win or go home. This tournament, as you could tell if you watch this game, it means a lot to them. It means a lot to him. And Kelvin Johnson might get a goddamn llama if they beat the Knicks tomorrow. So to have a guy like that on your team that is just generationally great defensively, like, I hope y'all really are internalizing that we might be watching the best defensive player of all time, where once he checks into the game throughout the second quarter, the OKC Thunder are on a nice slow run. The first stint he has is like 2 minutes. It's not even a big stint. And he immediately has some impact. And it's not just about the rim protection that is scary about Victor Wembanyama. It's the quarterbacking on the defensive side of the ball, where they're early on, they're throwing him into actions. And he is early calling out switches so he can say the low man so he can roam and protect the paint. The OKC Thunder have a lot of great things about their team, and they still, even after this game, should be looked at as the heavy favorite to win a championship. One of the things they do the best in the NBA is driving to the basket. You get into the rim, finishing at the rim, kicking it out to shooters. All of the things about getting 2 feet into the paint. And when Victor Wembanyama was on the floor, they could not do that. And now I'm thinking about that, just overall, just having Wemby down there and him scaring teams and him being a deterrent at the rim. And I'm like, you can port that against every other team in the postseason and be like, yeah, that is enough to carry us on the defensive side of the ball. One-man defensive unit. And they have other really good to great defenders, don't get me wrong. But when you have that luxury of being able to gamble on the perimeter, to double a guy like Shea, because you know that if he swings it to his left, they have to take that 3-point shot because they don't dare want to get to that basket because Big Wemby's down there. He's playing with this level of aggression and this passion, and he's throwing shots. And I mentioned in the video after this game that I uploaded on YouTube that him talking his trash and all of this is great for the NBA. I think that Wemby truly wants to be a heel in the league. Maybe he just hates OKC specifically, but it feels like he's okay with being the heel. And if there's any team over the next however many years that OKC is going to be great, if there's any team that I think could take them to the brink because of their versatility, it might be the San Antonio Spurs. The defensive side, cool. Even though Shea woke up with 29 points, they made Shea turn the ball over more than any time this season. They made Shea, again, a guy that will get to the basket, just be a jump shooting guy. And he's a 55% jump shooting mid-range guy, but they made that be his entire game. I saw somebody put up on Twitter that when Wembanyama was on the court in those 20 minutes, plus, first of all, he's a plus 21 in 20 minutes. When he was on the court in those 20 minutes, the OKC Thunder put a shot on the rim in the paint 3 times in 20 minutes. 3 times? One of the greatest driving teams in all of basketball. So you see that and you like, okay, if they go against this, I can see that. If they go against this, I can see that. And then one of the more underrated things about them is the guards. Everybody want to draw up the Giannis Antetokounmpo to the San Antonio Spurs because they have the assets, they have the young talent, they have picks from other teams that they can make look interesting. I'm out. I'm out in the idea completely. Because that will mean trading one of these guys. He's like, Kenny, you wouldn't trade Stephon Castle for Giannis. You wouldn't trade Dylan Harper for Giannis. And the answer is no, because one of the things they have over a lot of different teams of basketball is the size of their guards. And some of those dudes are legit dogs defensively. Stephon Castle growing in the half court is one of the scariest things that can happen to the Western Conference, right? And if he can come in and guard Shea heavy for a 7-game series, if you can have a guy between Castle, Harper, and Fox, where there's no minute on the court for you, where you don't have somebody that is elite at getting to the basket and creating rim pressure, it just, I don't know. So Van Gundy's using his word, man. He's saying contender. And he might be right. And he might be right. God forbid this team makes a move around the edge instead of going to get Giannis, going to get, I don't know, a starter that may be able to take away Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes has been really good this season, don't get me wrong, but he was 0 for 8 last night. To replace some of the Harrison Barnes minutes with another really good player, you know, again, it don't have to be Giannis, but it don't even have to be a star, but just a super high quality 3 or 4, then we might really be in business, y'all. I didn't come into the season thinking we would have this conversation about the Spurs being a contending team, but here we are. I don't want to go above and beyond or go overboard with it, but I squint my eyes and I say, it reminds me of a previous team who I won't even say, because maybe I'm just super early on it. But a guy that I think can win in it. Well, they won't have 3 MVPs, don't get me wrong, but a guy that can be one of the best players in the world. That's Victor Wembanyama, and then 2 younger guards. You know, one of them coming off the bench early in his career. Good role players around. It was a young team out there that went on a run. I think that if you pair these 2 teams up in a 7-game series, I'm talking OKC versus the Spurs, that OKC still wins the series. But I don't think it's as, you know, shut the door as it was 48 hours ago, just because Stan Van Gundy has got me thinking about all of the things that has to be incorporated in order to be a contender. Let me shed some light on my boy Luke Cornett, because when he played for the Bulls, our coach at the time said that he reminds him of Robert Horry. This is pre-Luke Cornett stopped shooting threes and stuff, and everybody laughed at him. Even on the broadcast, Stacey King, who loves his Chicago Bulls and would try to make you optimistic as a viewer, he laughed literally on the broadcast right after Jim Boylan says that. Jim Boylan was early. No, let me stop. He's not no Robert Horry. Robert Horry got so many rings, I can't even count them. But he is one of those guys that you could see, as you saw a few years ago, can be really impactful on a team that is winning a championship. Whether it is him playing spot minutes or him starting over Victor Wembanyama yesterday. I really do love this team. And if Wemby's going to play this well when the stakes are high and impact, again, we're talking about 20 minutes opposed to 30, which is what he would play, or in the postseason, 37 minutes. So I'm in on the Spurs. And to answer the question, do we give it too early? No, because I truly do believe the Spurs are contenders.